This is All India Radio. In the program Insights, now we bring you a discussion on Make in India, Make for India and Abroad. The participants are Sumita Dawra, Additional Secretary, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and Sonu Sood, AIR Correspondent.
In September 2014, PM Narendra Modi launched the Make in India initiative to transform the country into a leading global manufacturing and investment destination. Investors, both foreign and domestic, were invited to participate in the growth story of New India by making in India, not only for India but also for the world. To discuss this flagship project of the government, we have with us Ms. Sumita Dawra, Additional Secretary, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Ma'am, a warm welcome to you on All India Radio. Ma'am, how do you see the 8-year journey of the Make in India program? How far has it improved the investment climate and boosted manufacturing in our country?
As we look back on 8 years of Make in India, we noticed that the foreign direct investment annual figure has doubled in these 8 years alone. And there is a focus on key sectors like semiconductors to achieve the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. A lot of measures have been taken. For instance, if you see reducing the compliance burden for businesses, enhancing the ease of doing business, decriminalizing burdensome legislation. So all these interventions have been taken up. Plus, the production-linked incentive has given a big boost to manufacturing in the country. All the 14 key manufacturing sectors where PLI was announced have become operational, and they've started yielding results in terms of production, in terms of employment. At the same time, to improve the investment environment, apart from the EODB, reduction in compliance burden, decriminalization of unnecessary provisions, a lot of other measures were taken. For instance, the corporate tax has been reduced, the public procurement order has been given, national single window system has been operationalized, and if we also recall, the labor codes have been simplified. So, number of such measures have been taken to make the investment and manufacturing environment in the country more conducive to growth of manufacturing and making in India.
Ma'am, the latest $10 billion scheme to build a semiconductor ecosystem in India, does it embody the targeted approach of the government where specific steps to boost manufacturing are taken in key sectors where they are required on a priority to achieve Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat?
Yes, this is a very unique scheme where the importance of semiconductors in the world economy and for the economy of the country has been recognized. An amount of $10 billion has been kept aside for this incentive scheme to build a semiconductor display and design ecosystem in the country. So this intervention of Government of India, where a $10 billion incentive scheme has been launched to build the semiconductor ecosystem in the country, it is a boon to the manufacturing sector and to making us Atmanirbhar.
What all steps have been taken and will be taken to attract foreign direct investment in the country? We all know that from $45 billion in 2014-15, FDI inflows have steadily grown to reach record FDI of $83.6 billion in 2021-22 despite the pandemic. Can we hope for $100 billion FDI in the current financial year?
There is a FDI policy, a foreign direct investment policy, which Government of India has. And this policy has been progressively liberalized. It's a very transparent policy. And most of the sectors have been open to FDI, to foreign direct investments under the automatic route, which means you do not need government approval process for that. Now, that is a very liberal policy and it encourages foreign direct investments into the country. As we noticed in 2014-15, the foreign direct investment inflows in the country stood at around $45 billion. And every year for the last 8 years, we have recorded consecutively record FDI inflows. And these were about $84 billion in 21-22. And this year we are on track to attract $100 billion FDI in the country. All this has also been supplemented by the economic reforms, by the reduction in corporate tax, by the ease of doing business, the overall investment ecosystem which has been made more conducive for bringing investments into the country.
So many investors are looking for new destinations post-pandemic. Does India, being the fastest growing major economy in the world, put it at an advantage?
We are certainly at an advantage because we are a large market. We are a billion plus population, so that is a big domestic market. At the same time, our labor cost is so low. And then I've also mentioned all the policies under the dynamic leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister of Make in India, which is transforming the country into a leading manufacturing hub. The Gati Shakti program, which looks at improving connectivity in the country and reducing the cost of logistics. All these factors have gone to attracting more investments into the country and making India a manufacturing hub.
And can you tell us about the benefits of digitization for the investment climate, especially the National Single Window System for approvals and clearances?
The National Single Window System is a budgetary announcement of the Government of India in February 2020. And idea was to put in place an investment clearance cell, a single portal where investors can go and get all investment-related clearances from one portal. In that context, all the functional clearance systems, digitized clearance systems of various ministries of Government of India and of the state governments have been brought together on a single platform, that is the National Single Window System. And you'll be happy to know that 24 ministries and departments of Government of India and 16 states and UTs of India, which had mature single window systems of their own, have already joined the National Single Window System. Now, clearances on this have already been operationalized last September when the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry soft launched the National Single Window System. And today, 22,000 approvals have already been granted on the National Single Window System, making it easier for investors to get clearance at one platform. So that is the progress of the National Single Window System, and we are also looking forward to onboard another 8 departments, ministries of Government of India and the other states and UTs which are in the process of making the single window by March 2023.
And is there any system for facilitating and supporting investors in the pre-investment stage, where hand-holding is required, obtaining of approvals, execution and aftercare stages of investment approval?
One is the Know Your Approvals, whereby an investor goes to the National Single Window System and punches in the sector where he or she wants to make an investment and the geography, and gets a whole list of clearances which they require, which is under the Know Your Approval system. Secondly, to handhold investments and to fast-track investments, there is the Project Development Cell, which the Union Cabinet has approved for all the ministries of Government of India during the pandemic in June 2020. Thereafter, all the ministries have established a project development cell to fast-track investments, handhold investors, interact with them, and if there are any obstacles towards their investing in the country, to make sure that these obstacles are removed within the framework of our existing policies. As on date, there are 29 departments, ministries of Government of India with the project development cell, and they also reach out to the states to resolve any state-level issues the investors may have. It's very interesting that the PDCs report to the empowered group of secretaries, which is the highest body to resolve the issues at the bureaucratic level, and that is headed by the Cabinet Secretary himself. And for an aftercare, we have National Investment Promotion Agency, Invest India, where we have teams to take care of investors who may be facing other issues which require facilitation with the states or with the ministries.
Ma'am, can you tell us about the success of Make in India efforts seen in the growth of the Indian toy industry, which, due to the combined initiatives of the government and domestic toy manufacturers, saw import of toys in financial year 2021-22 decreasing by 70%, and India's exports of toys growing by 636% in April to August 2022 over the same period in 2013. Is the toy industry, you can say, a perfect example of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India?
During his Mann Ki Baat, the Honorable Prime Minister had expressed a desire that India should be established as a global toy manufacturing hub. And in this context, seeing the problems our toy industry was facing and to address the import of the low quality and hazardous toys which were sometimes coming into the country, strategic interventions were made to promote the toy industry. Some of these initiatives included increase of the basic custom duty and, very importantly, implementation of the quality control order, because of which the low quality toys could be restricted. And there was mandatory testing of the imported toys. Plus, our domestic toy manufacturers were given quality certification duly following the process by the BIS. And development of toy clusters were promoted and marketing interventions such as participation in toy fairs and international events, innovation, all this was encouraged. As this entire ecosystem developed, there were also very sincere efforts of the domestic toy manufacturers which have to be really appreciated. That in less than 2 years we've been able to show the progress. So yes, it is a very good example of how government and industry comes together, and there are policies and there are efforts made together to improve Make in India.
What is the significance of one district, one product initiative to promote Make in India among the masses? How will ODOP benefit the small artisans, small manufacturer in showcasing their indigenous products to the world?
The fruits of Make in India should percolate to the lowest geographies. So every district in the country has products which are made by the craftspersons or by the weavers, by the self-help groups. So with the idea of encouraging each district to select one product at least and become a manufacturing and export hub for that product. It is in this context that one district, one product, ODOP as we call it for short, is a very important intervention under Make in India for our small artisans, manufacturers of handlooms, handicrafts, textiles and so on, and for promoting socio-economic growth in the country. In this context, we have already facilitated suppliers to onboard the GEM platform so that the government departments, public sector units, Indian missions abroad can utilize the GEM platform and order these products. And now the G20 summit is coming up. India has the presidency for 2023, which is a huge opportunity for our ODOP related artisans and districts to get orders for gifting to the delegates and for various items which will go into the delegation bags, besides promoting the culture and heritage of our great nation.
This policy of Make in India aims to encourage domestic manufacturers' participation in public procurement activities over entities merely importing to trade or assemble items. Will this promote a local industry, boost domestic value addition and local sourcing?
To strengthen local manufacturing, we give a preference to domestic manufacturing in the public procurement of goods and services. So there is a public procurement Make in India order which was issued in 2017 to enable encouraging domestic manufacturing. So the domestic manufacturers' participation in public procurement. As you are aware, public procurement is a huge part of the expenditure which happens in the country, the purchases which happen in the country by the public agencies. So the public procurement order gives a preference, prioritizes domestic manufactured goods, and this is applicable to all the ministries and departments of government. So in this manner, a big boost has been given to manufacturing in India for India.
Ma'am, the Prime Minister has time and again emphasized the importance of R&D, innovation and adherence to global standards of quality. Would you say are also key elements for long-term rapid growth and development of the country?
If we meet global standards, only then we are competitive in the world market. And last year's export achievement, which has been a historic high at about 670 billion USD, is very encouraging and inspiring. So we have to now improve on that by meeting global standards in quality and by being innovative. And that is where R&D by the manufacturers, by the businesses also becomes very important, because when there is R&D, you create intellectual property, and that is where you make a lot of profits, and you are also able to produce in various parts of the world and your businesses become bigger. So all this is a very much part of Make in India and Make in India for the world.
Dawra, thank you so much for your time and giving deeper insight into the flagship government program, Make in India.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on Make in India, Make for India and Abroad. The participants were Sumita Dawra, Additional Secretary, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and Sonu Sood, AIR Correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.